Well then, folks, that was quite the Nintendo Direct, wouldn't you say? Good God, that was pretty incredible, honestly. So this February, I was expecting a Nintendo Direct. Beginning of February seemed likely. Lots of precedents for that. And lo and behold, here it is. The main topic I'm going to be going over is this new Kirby's Return to Dream Land Deluxe content and information, including the new demo and announced Magolor Epilogue, which is super exciting. I just got finished playing the demo. It has supercharged the hype, let me tell you, because playing that with the crisp 1080 visuals, 60 frames per second, oh man, you aren't ready. It's actually incredible. I'll quickfire go over the Direct because man, I was impressed. This is one of the best Directs in recent memory. Certainly better than the September Direct of this year. Probably better than the Spring Direct of last year even. We had Pikmin 4, a full reveal of it with the release date of July. It looked great. You have 4 different captains. The new camera angle looks really interesting and dynamic. There's a new nighttime feature. Really excited for Pikmin 4. The visuals look fantastic. There's been like people saying, oh, the Switch hardware is outdated, and yes, it is, but it's clearly still capable of creating beautiful visuals when talented development teams are involved and given enough time and resources. Looking at you, Game Freak, you're making everyone else look bad. There's quite a lot of DLC in the Direct. We had Fire Emblem Engage DLC, Splatoon 3 DLC, which gives you the plaza from the first game, and a new campaign, which looks like it's set in a world of dead coral. There was also some Xenoblade 3 DLC news, and it showed the trailer for the new campaign. And if you know anything about Xenoblade, you know this is kind of crazy and extremely exciting. So I'm very much looking forward to that. Although they do not have a release window for the campaign, I'm definitely looking forward to that. God, it looks pretty incredible. Another new thing is the Mario Kart 8 DLC, which has a new Yoshi course and Birdo, which just, wow, very exciting and unexpected. Love to see that. Advanced Wars Reboot Camp finally got a new release date of April, which makes sense. I can see why they delayed it in the first place, but delaying it any longer does not make too much sense to me, so I'm glad that it's getting released, and it looks quite nice. Lots of RPG video games. There is an Octopath 2 demo, which I'm definitely going to try out. Really looking forward to that. Kind of wish it wasn't coming out the same day as Kirby's Return to Dream Land Deluxe, but here we are. One of the biggest announcements as well was that Game Boy and Game Boy Advance are coming to the Nintendo Switch Online service. Game Boy to the base price model, and Game Boy Advance to the expansion pricing range. That's really great. There's actually some good emulation features here. You can play in black and white, or you can play with the green monochrome display, the classic Game Boy look, or you also have the option for Game Boy Color. And they have some really great titles in their starting lineup, like Super Mario Land 2, Tetris, the original Tetris, which I'm so glad I'm totally going to play a ton of that. I love Game Boy Tetris. Has something special to it that no other version has. It's quite a perfect game. And then GBA has some really good stuff, like the Mario Advanced games, that game with the flipping plane, which looks like a paddle because it's top-down. I have that on Wii U. A lot of these Game Boy Advance games are games that I got on Wii U because I had no idea when or if they were ever going to be re-released. Now they're re-released, so that's good. They're more available. We're also getting Kirby's Dream Land, right in time for the 30th anniversary, which was last year, but also this year it's still being celebrated, so it can be counted as a part of that. Great way to play the original Kirby's Dream Land. This will be the first time it's on a home console since Kirby's Dream Collection on the Wii. Then we also have Kirby Tilt and Tumble announced for the Game Boy Color. Oh my god, it's finally being ported to a new system. This game is difficult to emulate because it uses motion controls. I'm hoping that they're going to include ability to use gyro controls in the Switch version. That would only make sense since the Switch has gyro built in, or maybe they'll come up with some other solution, like maybe you could just use the D-pad. Hopefully it's gyro though, because that's what makes that game really cool, is that it uses gyro. And that came out today with new titles slated to be added in the future, and I was not expecting that. They have in the past not added systems until September. Which makes sense because that's when all the memberships expire, so they want people to sign up for the next year. I feel like momentum for the Nintendo 64 service is cooling down. I feel like they've gotten most of the big releases, and there's only the of Nintendo 64 games is definitely starting to dry up. So good that they have a new console ecosystem to draw from. And I gotta mention it, low chance, low probability, but hey, Mother 3, there's now an avenue for that to make it to Switch. Not likely, but possible. If it were to be released, that's a place for it to be. Then we had another shocker, which was Metroid Prime Remastered. I saw this, I guess it was leaked that it was going to be shadow dropped after the Direct, but still, seeing that actually happen was crazy. And it's $40. That's a great price. It looks like, to me, like they've redone some of the models and the textures. I don't know which team worked on it. Presumably not Retro, because I'm going to bet they're busy with Prime 4, but whoever did it looks like a proper remaster. And the physical version comes out the 22nd, but the digital version is available now, which is just crazy. And then, of course, they finished it off with Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. New trailer for it, proper trailer. This showed so many new elements. There was a lot to look at, which is great because that's what I wanted to see. I wanted to see what makes this game new and different, and I feel that this trailer delivered on that. And the price is $70, which is justifiable. It's not ideal. Personally, what I don't like is the precedent it sets. So we'll see how that goes. Kirby news. We got more Kirby news other than just the Game Boy stuff, which is very exciting. Anyway, Return to Dream Land Deluxe. First off, we got the reveal of the Magolor Epilogue. I love how they introduced this. They just it was a cut to black from another game, and then it fades into Magolor drifting through space, defeated. This mode was revealed by a leak of the back of the box, because it's on one of the features listed on the back of the box, and now we get a full trailer for it, and we get a bit of view of the scope of it, which looks pretty large. 20 levels, that's quite good, and it has a unique format in that you will be upgrading Magolor as you go along, and he starts in a very weakened state, and he can't really fly at all, and his attack is very short range and presumably not very powerful, and then you will gather power-ups throughout the game to upgrade Magolor. And we saw two bosses, one of which had already been revealed on the back of the box, which is like a fiery version of Fatty Puffer. Very interesting. And there were also like 4 Sphere Doomer, Grand Doomer looking guys, which they sort of tease in the demo at the very end of the demo. I love the new defeated Magolor design, and it'll be about him trying to escape the area between dimensions. And the demo itself is actually quite substantial. It has 2 levels, but they have been sort of remixed and switched around. This is like a really fantastic demo, and it got me a lot more excited for playing the final game because the level of polish is so exceptional. The original game was already really refined, but this one takes it to the next step, and it has just tons of little flourishes. Like basically every single element has something slightly new. The emotes, basically very similar to Forgotten Land, where Kirby had emotes. You use the right analog stick and it'll do an emote, which is really funny and cool, and it does a little zoom in on your character. The backgrounds look stunning. We also get some sections of Merry Magoland, which is fun. It's, as expected, a 3D environment that you go around in. It runs in 30 frames per second, which is interesting, but not really a big deal because it's a menu. And it has 2 mini games included in this demo, which is the Boom Blasters and the Ninja Dojo. Ninja Dojo is basically the same, except I believe there might be some new music, and also like a shadowy ninja version of Magolor appears in the game to like carry the target at one point, which was really weird and surprising. Magolor is very pervasive in this game, which is great because he's a top-tier character. Speaking of Magolor, there's a new difficulty option, which is you have a Magolor Assist mode, which basically gives you double health, and he will pick you up from pits if you fall into them. Not really something I will be using, but it's cool. The new sand ability feels great. Lots of unique moves, and it has like a sort of whip attack that can grab things, build a sandcastle. The mecha ability is not present, nor is the festival ability, but that's fine because the game is not that far away, so we'll look forward to messing around with those in the final game. Something about Boom Blasters. Kabula shows up in Boom Blasters, and it plays a remix of the Heavy Lobster theme as well as the Kabula Battle theme from Superstar Ultra, which is just like, man, that's ridiculous. I was hyped as hell when I heard that. That was just the sickest thing ever. Interesting choice, and you always get some fun new remixes with Kirby. I think the pause screen descriptions are new. The Wispy one seemed unfamiliar, and as did the Sphere Doomer one. There is a HAL room as well in this demo, which I found because I remembered where it was in the original game, and the same room is in this game. And yeah, it's like the same HAL room, but it has the sand ability, and it plays, I think, a new remix of Green Greens, and then it transitions into some tracks from Kirby's Dream Buffet, which is very weird, but I do like it. It's cool that there's a HAL room in the demo. That was definitely intentional that they left that in there. I'm glad. You also get a taste of some of the masks and how unlocking that works with the Merry Magoland. The Waddle Dee mask makes wonderful Waddle Dee noises. Also, the Waddle Dee souvenir cart is in the level select of Cookie Country, and it just makes it more convenient to change your mask and also to get your souvenir items, which you can bring into levels like Pep Brews or copy abilities. This made me very excited for the game, just with how smooth it is, how beautiful it looks, and the extra flourishes. Also, super abilities feel much faster. After the first attack, like with the Ultra Sword, the swings are very, very quick, as is the Flame Dragon. And enemies splat onto the screen after you hit them. The super abilities just feel a lot more satisfying to use in this game. Also, the Ultra Inhale still works, where you can shake your remote even if you're using the Pro Controller. And you can also just hold the B button and it will automatically activate. One other thing is the dodge from Kirby Star Allies is in this, where you can like dodge in midair, and you can also dodge on the ground. That was definitely not in the original game, as I recall. Good to see that here. Lots of modernizations like that. The new opening cutscene looks also very good. And there is a new like Cookie Country remix for when you finish a stage, as opposed to the more generic one from the original game, which sounds great. Tons of tiny little new things that all add up together to make it feel really superior to that original title, although Scope Shot is still probably not in. No sign of it. That's the video. That was a killer direct, one of the best in recent memory. I was satisfied with the Zelda and Pikmin presence, and the new Kirby stuff was great, and the Game Boy inclusion was a nice surprise that I was not expecting in this direct. I expected that later in the year if that was going to happen. I have another video in the works, which is a bit weird and not usual, but hopefully that'll be something that interests at least a few people. So keep an eye out for that on the channel in the future, the coming time. Yeah, I'll be talking about more Return to Dream Land Deluxe when that releases very, very soon. Okay, goodbye, viewers.